They met at their best friend's wedding. I had actually said a prayer the night before just about the right man for Ali, because she was wanting, I knew she was lonely, she was wanting to get married, and it was a very specific prayer about the kind of man I thought that would be good with her, a good match. I'd written a poem, and he loves poetry, and so she read it to Cadence, and yeah, I guess that was kind of it. We came home, and a few of the boys at the dance were mentioned, and she's like, actually, I did like one really caught my eye. And then I'm like, which? And she's like, Manoah. So we looked at pictures. I'm like, tell me which one in the pictures? She points them out, and I'm text him. She said, text him. And literally in that moment, it was like, text him, text him.
The first time I heard about him was right after the wedding. Like the day after the wedding, she talked about him, and she was like, there's this guy that I'm like, I don't know, he's kind of cute, and like we danced together, stuff. And then I was the one that convinced her to text him. So they texted, and then like it all went from there. They just kept talking and talking.
He asked me to dance, and we started talking about poetry, and I was like, a guy who knows about poetry and likes it, that's bizarre. So I wanted to get to know him better.
She gave a poem, I complimented her on it, and then kind of started from there. She wrote to me on Instagram afterwards, and then we replied, and then I think she was passing through town and she wanted to meet up. So we had sushi with a couple of the guys who are my groomsmen now, and some of her bridal party as well, and then we did a little walk around the park.
The cultural differences was definitely a challenge in the beginning. I didn't, I think, understand the level of respect that he has for his family and their opinions is so different than what I am used to. He took things really slow, made sure everything was cool with everybody, and I didn't understand it at the time, but I'm so grateful for it now because we have such a great relationship with them.
And so she asked almost a lot about the culture, and she wrote stuff down, and through that I saw that, okay, she puts in a lot of effort and she genuinely cares, and like that's someone I'm gonna be with, because we're not gonna be perfect, but you know, putting effort in is such a good sign. So from there I was like, okay, this is special.
I think it's just so normal for me to be fully immersed in my culture where we live, even though we maybe don't view it as culture, but I realize that we do have our own culture when I compare it with how different things are with his.
I've seen a lot of effort from Ali. Like as African, we are family, how do you say it? We are close. And then I see Ali doing a lot of effort to have a good relationship with me, with Manoah's sister. Yeah. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just want him to feel free to totally be himself and be able to cherish that aspect of who he is, and I want to pass it on to our kids one day as well. I think the cultural differences has probably been the biggest challenge, but it's now one of our biggest strengths.
Her love has allowed me to fail and not be criticized or feel bad for it. So like growing with her, knowing that she'll love me as I fail and as I improve really means like the world to me.
I was laying in bed and we were talking over the phone, and I can't remember what he said or even what we were talking about, but I just remember the feeling of like, I love him. It was, yeah, there was no denying it, definitely.
I think one of my favorite memories is when Allie, when she was 2 years old, she came up to me at the Kingdom Hall and she's like, "Are you my daddy?"
Yeah.
And it really,
I was a single mom at the time.
it broke my heart, and I said, I wish I was your daddy.
Yeah. So she chose her dad. She did a good job. So I'm confident with her choice in Manoah.
So we went and got sushi for our first date and took it to a park, and that same park is actually where he proposed to me. Under the little trellis where we ate our lunch.
I think my whole groom party was there. We scouted out the park the day before, and it was super freezing. We came from the meeting, so we just had like suits on. So we did a walk around the park where we had our first dates, and we plotted locations and where we'd meet up and where we'd have her walk up from.
They told me we were going for pictures, and so I got dressed up, and him and I were gonna go get some food first, so us and our friend went to get food.
We told her that, oh, it's gonna take about 45 minutes, so let's just take a walk around the park that's close by here. And I was supposed to lie and say I forgot something in my car. So I went back and then I ran around the whole park so she couldn't see me.
And then I'm just walking up, and I wasn't really paying attention, but...
And then I met her at the top of like a structure, and there my sister and my cousins had arranged roses and candles with a "Marry Me" sign. And then I was right there in the middle on my knees.
I saw the fairy lights, and he had like rose petals on the ground in the shape of a heart. He was kneeling in the middle of it. There was a sign that said "Marry Me." I can't remember everything he said, but I know that it was very sweet. And yeah, I couldn't believe it that it was happening in that moment. But yeah, I was just, yeah, he's the one.
Do you, Manoah Numbi Kabamba, in the presence of Jehovah God and these witnesses, take Alexis Brielle Hill to be your wedded wife, to love and to cherish, in accordance with the divine law as outlined in the Holy Scriptures for Christian husbands, for as long as you both may live?
I do.
And do you, Alexis Brielle Hill, in the presence of Jehovah God and these witnesses, take Manoah Numbi Kabamba to be your wedded husband, to love and to cherish, and deeply respect, in accordance with the divine law as outlined in the Holy Scriptures for Christian wives, for as long as you both may live?
I do.
For as much as Manoah Numbi Kabamba and Alexis Brielle Hill have covenanted before Jehovah God and these witnesses to accept each other in wedlock, I, as an ordained minister, and by the authority conferred upon me by the Holy Scriptures and the province of Alberta, pronounce that they are husband and wife together. What God has yoked together, let no man put apart. You may now kiss the bride.
Today, promises have become permanent and friends have become family. And we couldn't be any happier to be a part of this special day. Congratulations to my little brother Manoah and the newest addition to my many little sisters, Alexis. Although you are my younger brother, you have always taken care of me like a big brother would. And I thank Jehovah for you, and I thank you for bringing us Ali. She has one of the kindest, most giving hearts, and paired with your big heart, we are all so lucky to have you both, and may Jehovah continue to bless the both of you.
In our culture, when our son gets married, we say that he has given us a daughter. I will never take your mom's place, but today I have officially adopted you as my last born.
Manoah brought joy to all of us. So I am sure that he will bring a lot of joy to you. So I know that he's going to be a great husband with Jehovah's blessing and Jehovah's help.
Manoah, to you and your family, we are so grateful to welcome you with very open arms, as wide as they can be. We have always wanted a son, and it was so worth the wait. As we combine our stories, may your marriage reflect unity, strength, and the gift of Jehovah's love, and the gift of marriage. This is to the love of my life's mom. I will never know how to fully thank you for raising the most exceptional man I know, but I hope this promise is a start. I promise to love him wildly, fearlessly, and with no conditions. I promise that I will remember Jehovah is as much a part of our marriage as him and I. I promise to love him and him only. I promise I'll never forget that you loved him first. You've spent 25 years teaching him his worth, to believe in himself, and that he can do anything he puts his mind to. I promise that I will continue this lesson. He isn't only the man of my dreams, he's the man of my prayers. I don't know what Jehovah deemed in me worthy of being with a man as incredible as your son, but I will spend my life proving myself worthy. He is the sunlight in my dark and the ground beneath my feet. Thank you for letting me into your world, into your family, and thank you for being the reason I can call him my husband today. I love you both dearly.
Softer part of me. You make me so happy, and I'm glad Jehovah put you in my life. I can't wait to see where the future takes us. I love you.